Good morning, Leiden, and happy Friday. I'm Johnny Auger.
And I'm Melissa Perez.
And on this episode of the Eagle Update, we have a special tribute to honor the veterans with a connection to the Leiden family.
We would like to ask you to please listen while they tell their stories.
This flag we were given by the Women's Auxiliary of the American Legion Post 974. And basically what it means is that you have a member of your family serving in the military during a time of either war or hostilities, and the blue star just means you have someone serving at this time.
I definitely think I'll be a changed person coming back. It's going to be my first time being away from my family for the last 4 years. I got a 2-year-old daughter, and 2 days after I found out I was deploying, I found out I'm having a little one on the way, so I have a 2-month-old.
Well, you hope as a parent what you taught him through life growing up prepared him for adulthood and getting, by in life. And you just hope at that point, they're on their own. You hope you did your job up to that point.
The thing I look forward to mostly from deploying is really getting to know myself. I mean, you're going to be 5,000-6,000 miles away, and it's going to be humbling. I'm not going to have my wife and my family there with me at different times. Can't just call and say, "Hey, babe, what's going on?" You just got to fight and be tough. It's that mental strength that it's really going to be put to the test. But I'm ready for it.
The letters were great, and once they started, it took a while for them to get rolling in, and once they did, it was a lot easier. But the first 4 weeks, we didn't hear from them at all, and it's very different from whatever we experienced before.
That was definitely the hardest part about it. It's not being that regular daily basis of being able to see or know what they're doing, even if it was just little things. So every letter I got was...
You know what? He was more mature, but he's still the same smiling, happy, talkative kid that we knew and loved.
Biggest sacrifice of leaving... What would you say?
It's your sacrifice.
Biggest sacrifice. Probably being able to do what I want. Because when you're there, you wake up at a certain time and you go you go to bed when they tell you to, and everything in between is you have to ask to do it or they tell you to do something. So it's never really you have any thought of what you're doing.
Duty, honor, country. Those 3 words build courage when courage seems to fail.
My name is Alan Shatton. I was in the U.S. Army. I was in Vietnam. I did Point Squad, and I was a combat engineer for a while.
We call your attention to the small table which occupies a place of dignity and honor. It is set for 1, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks.
My name is Jesus Aguirre. I was in the Army National Guard Army for 22 years. Of course, goods and bads, but I enjoyed every minute of it. Changed my whole life. I actually met my wife through the military. She's also military. One thing I could tell students in high school or even young adults is to appreciate, because if it wasn't for the veterans or soldiers of past, present, and the future, we would not be here at all. We would not be having all the luxuries that we have here currently compared to other countries. So hopefully they'll keep that in mind.
So both of them were a part of the Army. That's the branch they served in. My grandfather was a staff sergeant and my dad was specialist 4th class. And I will be honest that I don't really know what that means. I know that my dad said that with the Vietnam War being kind of a controversial war, that when he returned, sort of the climate in the United States had changed. Some people did not support what we were doing and did not support the war and were very angry. And so there were situations and times where he wasn't always treated well. He served and was home before he even met my mom. So that time of his service did not affect our family individually. I know for my grandfather, my mom and her sister are 6 years apart, and my grandfather was sent over when my grandmother was pregnant with my aunt. So she gave birth while he was gone, and then 4 years later he came home and had a 4-year-old daughter that he had never met.
My name is Linda Smith. I'm an English teacher, and my brother Brian Smith was in the Marine Corps from 1987 to 1991, and he served in Desert Storm. He was gone for 4 years. He did Saudi Arabia, he did Okinawa, and he also did Iraq during the war. When I was in high school, I graduated in 3.5 years and I went on to college. My senior year of high school, my brother did the same thing. But when he was 17, that January, he ended up going into the Marine Corps boot camp. So he weighed like 135 pounds, and by the time he was done with boot camp, he had gained like 20 pounds of muscle. And when he was gone, of course, when he enlisted originally, we weren't at war with anybody. And then when we found out that we were going to go to war during the Desert Storm time, we knew that Brian was going to go over there. And so, of course, we were worried about him. Well, we didn't know where he was. We would get letters back and forth. And that, I think that war, they were trying to limit the amount of communication as far as where the troop movements were. So it was just always in the back of my mind, you know.
My dad's service was from 1968 to 1969 in Vietnam, and he came home and got married and had me, and I think he just wanted to create an environment that was full of love and respect. And so I think a lot of times he didn't want to talk about his service or have it be a part of our lives, but I think it was because of just what he had been through. Like I said, he didn't really talk about it a lot. He really didn't want to. And actually, now that I'm thinking about this, when I was in high school, I had to do a project on Vietnam, and he would not talk about it. Like, he physically could not talk about it. So that was hard to see him so upset about something I couldn't understand. But I think through those other ways, like just being a good father, having a household that had faith and love and respect, that's how it affected him. My dad is someone who is just a really nice person, and he does have a strong faith, because I do think from what he saw, some of the battles he fought, he lost a lot of his platoon, and so he's just happy to be alive. And when he came a few years ago to talk to my students at Leiden, my literacy students, that was very therapeutic for him, and he was able to just discuss, I think, what he had been through, and that kind of opened the door for him for it to be okay.